We'd have to get around to do that.
Do we have any declarations of interest, or any personal or prejudicial interest to do with the agenda that we don't already know about? No. Okay. Agenda point number 4, appointment to committees. To agree the appointment of Councillor Draper to the following committees: Town Centre and Events, Planning and Environment. And to agree the appointment of Councillor Jane Mordew to the following committees: Planning, Resources and the Communication Strategy Group. Okay, excellent. It's like North Korea. Then agenda point number 5. Representatives and outside bodies. We have a number of vacancies, and this is on Appendix A. We have a vacancy. So the idea would be that, considering that we are nearly complete, not entirely, but shows of hands for volunteers have been highly appreciated. That's the plan tonight. So the first vacancy is for the Buckingham and Gorka Charitable Trust. Yes, Councillor Margaret.
Councillor Fran Davis.
I would accept that.
Yeah, okay. All those in favour, please. And that is unanimous.
Thank you.
Fran, consider yourself
Appointed.
We also have a vacancy on the Buckingham Community Wildlife Project. Yes.
Am I allowed to nominate myself?
Yeah. Yes, you are, and I'm happy to second you.
Excellent.
All those in favour? Excellent. Nice. I'm doing really well, yeah. Now let's see what else.
In the order.
A new one. The new Super Councils network of NALC. So it's a NALC network. NALC is the National Association of Local Councils. Hey. For councils with a precept of over 1 million, and we are one of those, and it would be very good to be represented on it. Yes, Robin.
It might be prudent, I think, that whoever goes on that is a Buckingham Town Council solely. I think really it would be probably best. But also with it being on the finance, so somebody who's involved in the finance, the resources committee goes on it, because it will be all about money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Councillor Harvey.
If nobody else wants to do it, I'll give it a shot.
I'll second that.
well done, John.
Thanks,
Councillor Try.
excellent, John.
Oh no, I'm going to keep my hand down there. I timed that well, didn't it?
Okay, I don't imagine anybody is going to vote against this. Anybody against? No. Okay, John, consider yourself our representative of that. We also have a vacancy on the Twinning Association. Margaret.
Yeah, I'm a member of the Twinning Association. Maybe I should have declared an interest in that, but I'm willing to be our representative.
Everybody.
I'll second that.
Right, thank you, Margaret.
So have a step forward.
And then we have the Rural Market Towns Group, for which we didn't have any takers last time. If nobody else is willing to do it, then I'm willing to do this. Wow, I have an interest, not a declarable interest, but a curiosity interest.
Thank you very much.
It is a good group.
You need to vote?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And then the next point is to agree a new lead councillor for bonfire and fireworks, because Andy, I believe, after many years, you've decided you've done it often. You've done it for long enough. Yes.
Just before we do that, I'd like to propose a show of thanks to Councillor Andamari who's been doing it for 14 years. 16, sorry. Don't try and fly, Andy, when you're enjoying yourself. And he's been diligent, he's always been there, never let us down, always made sure the fireworks have gone off. And I'm sure that if anyone puts a name forward, Andy will support them in the transition to the role. It is one of those things which is a signal of what the town's doing. And Andy has been absolutely brilliant at it. So I hope to propose that we have a show of hands and thank Andy for what he's done. Now we've just got to find somebody.
Thank you, that was the easy part.
I'm willing to say.
Oh, well done.
Do we have a second?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure that Andy.
Oh, of course.
And a show of hands to point Brian for that one, thank you. I will try to be.
Do I have to declare it?
No, just to have a lighter.
Always got one.
That brings us to the conclusion of point number 5 on the agenda. And takes us to point number 6, to review the action report, which was written at the previous meeting. That we go through this or give ourselves time to go through this. Councillor Sutherland.
Yeah, firstly, 3.86 and 0.2 has now been on the agenda since 2017. I'm going to suggest a way forward with that is that with the members' agreement, there is a report being drafted at the moment, which will go to the HASC, the Infrastructure Committee, looking at the position of health buildings structure. The reason it hasn't gone yet is because we feel there's more work to do. Would it be a way of moving this forward that we bring that back to a meeting, the findings of that? Is it allow members to answer parts of the questions, the difficulties that we're having, and then see what comes out of it thereafter?
I do.
Is that a proposal?
It's a proposal, yeah.
I'll second.
Is there any for debate or for discussion on this one? Okay, so all those in agreement? Any other points on the action list? Yeah. Okay.
7.73/26. I know town clerk's chasing this to be for members who have joined us for reference. There was 2 pollution instances. The first one was in 2017, which was to do with angular water, and that case was determined in Norwich Crown Court. And they awarded costs and charges against the water company. Second one was the chemical leakage into the river, which is the 2018, which came from Brackley, which is still not come to any determination, and we still are very much in the dark about what it was. This is the one which everybody remembers, which is the fish floating in the river in Buckingham and the mill and everything. So I don't know where we are with that. I'd be interested to see who we've contacted and why we haven't been responded. Many members of this council separately, and I do believe that at one time Councillor White did actually try to follow us himself personally and didn't actually get anywhere. So I think that we need to, outside the meeting, discuss who we wrote to and push on with this, because it's now 2023 and not actually understanding what took place. It's not about proportioning blame, that's for the courts. But not even understanding why it took place and what actions were and what may be taking place seems derelict, really, or not proportionate. So would it be, I propose that we have a separate discussion with the town clerk about where she feels this is, and then probably within the Environment Committee, and then decide a course of action thereafter, because it's far too long to be waiting for a result on this. It could be there's a legal reason that we know nothing about. So we won't comment on that because it's sub judice, but I do think we need to. I was only asked twice about it at the weekend, which is what I'm mentioning now. So it's still in everybody's mind in Buckingham.
I'd ask Jay to get indicative to declare on the 22nd of November, so in time for this agenda to go out, because I noticed it been hanging around. And they have promised they will get back to me within 20 working days, so I need to give them like a few weeks before we're past that deadline.
Through you, Mayor, then would it be, as I said, take it to the next Environment Committee to discuss in depth and decide where we go with what the town clerk's managed to find out or not. Whatever the case is, no criticism of the town clerk here, because they might just give us a legal answer, saying it's whatever, which case we don't know where we are, because we don't know what the response will be.
I can do, but I mean, it is something that it is on the action list for council, so it would be brought to the next full council if I have an update anyway. So if we have particularly wanted on the environment as well.
Yeah, so that is a question. Do we want it on brought to the Environment Committee, or are we happy for it to come back to next full council? Yeah, Councillor Harvey.
I don't think it makes sense for it to go to environment because it's going back and forth. It makes sense to stick with full council. And given that they've now promised a response within 20 working days, it won't make the next full council, it might make the one after that, I suppose, won't it? Because 18th December, the next one's 8th of January. It's going to get fine, but we might get something by then, I suppose. But they are really, really, really slow. You know, basically responding to any inquiry at all. I think it's frankly wrong.
I mean, in saying that, I think we should record our thanks to the town clerk for doing what she's doing.
Oh, yeah.
And if we get a response 28 days after some 2018, I think that's not too bad.
I will continue to chase it, so I will report back as soon as I've got.
Councillor Draper. Were you wanting to say something?
I wasn't.
Was that just a hand waving?
No, I was going to ask for it to be brought to environment if it was going to be the next full council, just because I wouldn't be in attendance, but if it will be the January full council.
I don't know, when they get back to me, I'll forget anything.
Yeah, on the next suitable agenda. I think I would be happy to leave it at that.
Yeah, don't too much about it to me.
Robin.
Just to thank the town clerk for progressing fund 258/25. It looks like we've done some work now with the Lord Lieutenant to begin and look at the arrangements of having Charles III come to Buckingham. Thank you for that. And obviously there's a procedure and a protocol to go through that we have to respect, but it'd be nice to have him here, because I believe it'd be the third Charles to receive the mace in Buckingham from whoever she or he is mayor at the time. It could be several years away, but it'd be nice for that person to have it, and have another person than the late Derek Eiskin, who was the last mayor, I think, to greet them. And Derek used to tell us quite often now what it meant to him. It'd be nice for something to happen to some other person.
So, yeah, any comments on any of the other action points? Yes, Claire.
I do actually have an update on the PSPO complaint. I had a reply after hours on Friday. I've had a brief look through it, but Louise has been off today, so I just want to read it in detail before the circulate it round. So that has come back, and I will update everybody as soon as I've had a chance to look at it properly.
Sorry, Claire, which one is that?
That's the PSPO complaint 91/23, page 10.
10 out of 12.
Third down.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, that one. For context, for the new members, not that we want to go into detail, but there was a unilaterally imposed alteration of the public spaces protection order, which actually was a lot more stringent than we felt was appropriate, or this council has in the past felt would be appropriate. And so we have reflected about that. And are sitting here with bated breath until the answer. Yes, right.
Just to say, if we had Councillor Fran Davis hadn't been a landlord and noticed that, we wouldn't have known about it. She noticed it when she read the order straight away on one of our brief outings to the Mitre.
Anyway, yeah.
Could I just say that I don't think you were with me on that occasion, Robbie?
What a shame.
Anyway, thank you for that clarification. Are there any further comments on? Yes, councillor Sutton.
Just on stroke 4.8 stroke 2.3, members will recall that the announcement on Thursday School and having a sixth form centre for special education need. I do believe, if my memory serves me correct, that it's gone through most of its consultations and whatever. So, all being well, that should come September. If there's no major hiccup in it, it should mean that Thursdown will have a sixth form centre in Buckingham dealing with children with special education need, which I think doesn't disagree with the actions, but it looks like that's going to now take place. So that's a positive for children in Buckingham, and it's a positive for children in Buckinghamshire period, because there is a real shortage of places for children with special education need period in Buckingham, especially in North Buckinghamshire. So I've spent a lot of time chasing the council on special education need. It would be most inappropriate when they're doing something right. I wasn't to say that they've done the right thing here. Of course, I expect hopefully that when that takes place, it'll be another added community of people to Buckingham, which we can engage with and support.
Thank you. Does that bring us to the end of the discussion of the action points? So thank you very much to everybody. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. The last point, 379, cemetery consultation and resolution. Councillor Secretary proposed that we ask officers to write a summary of the main hurdles in reaching this conclusion. Clarification needed on scope, times and resources. Would the clerkman be able to elucidate on that update? Thank you.
Yes, it was a proposal that came without a supporting report from the last meeting. It's a little bit of a vague one. It's something that could potentially take an awful lot of officer time. So I would like some clarification on how much officer time you would like devoted towards looking back through the history of this project. Just so I've got a better idea of what it is you're actually asking for.
Yeah.
Well, I think I want to clarify that, as I was the one who did it. One of the things we had with this project for new members, so they're aware, is that it's got a long history in the way we got to where we did. There was lots of things we need to know what happened, and one of them was the extension of the planning needing to take 5 years. The way that we went through the process of funding it, the work that we did in to make sure that all the things that we learned through that exercise are learned experience, so that it is a chronicle record for if the council and councillors in future comes to do something like this, they can look back at where the pinch points were previously. And also there was a huge amount of extra cost in it for Buckingham Town Council, in the sense that the planning was held up for 5 years, and I think mortgage rates have accelerated quite considerably in that time. So had it come forward earlier in the trimester of events, considering it was in the Buckingham neighbourhood plan agreed by all and was a project, we would have all been financially, the town would have been financially better off. So without proportionally blame on an historical matter, we need to do a proper record of what it was, agree the record, note it and keep it in abeyance, because councillors must learn by previous procedures to make sure that when we do another procedure like this, we can look at where the stumbling blocks are to make sure that we're equipped for dealing with the swings and waves of the upper authority, the planning process and everything else that goes with it. Because we have spent, or will have spent, when this project comes off, a large amount of financial money on it, and I think it's only right that we leave that in the drawer, because in 10 years' time there'll be never a lot of people around the chamber perhaps, and it may be doing another big project, and they need to be able to draw back on the knowledge of what happened rather than an assumption of what happened, the actual knowledge of what happened, which can be correct, and make sure that when we're spending public money in the future, we protect ourselves against the decisions of people.
Okay, so that's clear then.
Yeah.
What I'm really looking for is how much time you would like. If we do the full almost academic study going back over the history, it could potentially take an officer weeks and weeks to do it, because because we need to evidence and I can't make an accusation without absolutely evidencing and being 100% sure that what I'm saying is true. So if I present a report to you about things that happened many years ago, which none of us were involved in, we are going to have to go back through the archive and through records. So what I'm presenting is correct. But it's taking an extremely large piece of work. I just want to make sure that that is exactly what council want, and if you could give me an idea of how much time you think you would like devoted towards it.
Councillor,
I guess what I had in mind with regards to this was something like a timeline. That just shows some of the key dates, like when were we first talking about a new cemetery? When was it put in the, the neighbourhood plan? When was, planning? Perhaps some of that. I mean, I would say no more than 2 days' work to reduce it. What would be my estimate? We don't want a book, and we don't want some, huge research. We don't want to do that accuses anybody either. We just want to recall the key dates, which should be in the minutes of various meetings that we've had. And I'm sure there are people around the table who could help with some of that if it's difficult finding it. But we've got all the archives there. I would say 2 days worth of work, see where we get to. But the aim would be at the end of the 2 days, we've got, I think, an A4 sheet, dates, just setting out when things started and where we've got to now. That's what I would propose.
Councillor Secretary.
Yeah, I think I just say approximately 2 days because it will take quite a long time to fish stuff out of the archives. I think that's where Claire's worry is with it. I'm quite happy to sit down and recount every episode by minute by day because I will remember it. But also there is the actual expenditure that we have to make because of the delays. We have to spend a lot more money on the present cemetery. All that needs to be done because without a critical record of it, and I think 2 days actually putting the report together, I think it will take quite a little while because some of this will be archived up in the store, which means that somebody's got to go up there, John, actually fish the paperwork out and sort it out. So I would just think 2 days is probably too short a period. That's why Claire's asking us how much time we want to put towards it. I think I would say that we hope it would take 2 days. If it takes longer, it does do. I don't think it's a time precious thing because this is a legacy thing, not a sort of proportionate blame thing. Anyone can do that from within the information provided. But I think 2 days might be too short, John.
Councillor Harvey.
I disagree. I think a lot of progress can be made in 2 days. Let's see where we get to with 2 days' work and then review. I mean, this, it's Robert saying this is something that's for a legacy to look forward over the number of years. We're not in a rush on this. No. Let's do 2 days' worth of work on this with somebody who knows how to access all of our archives. I think you need to get hard copies, Robert. It'll all be on. It's all on our website and so forth. We can find all the information there. I honestly don't think that all the data are about costs because a lot of that will be very speculative too. For me, it's just about key dates on when this started and where we've got to now. It's not a book, Robin. We don't need a book because no one's going to read a book about it. They really aren't, in my view. I think keep it at 2 days and let's see where we've got to with that. And then as a council, we can decide whether we want to invest more of our officers' time in that or not.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, Councillor Davies.
I think I agree with John on the timings of it. However, I think that there ought to be some facts in there regarding the financial implications, etc. How much we anticipated it costing in the first instance, and how much it's cost to actually keep Brackley Road Cemetery going in that time. I think that would be useful as a proper record of the whole project.
I now have 3 different opinions. May I suggest I will bring a report to the next full council with 3 separate options with an idea of how long I think they will take. And then members can make a decision based on the report.
Agreed.
Very good suggestion.
Agreed.
No, we can disagree with her.
I need to know what it is you're asking me to do. And potentially, as I say, if we produce something that is a factual study of quite a long project, then I think it's to be completely accurate, because can't tell you something has happened without being 100% sure. It's true.
Yeah, no, I think we've accepted that point. We also don't want this to be an open-ended project that will take, you know, forever. So yes, the idea of you coming back with 3 different ideas and how a rough idea of what you think, you know, the time implications of that would be, and then we can make a decision. Everybody?
Yeah.
in agreement with that? Thank you. So I believe that brings us to the end of agenda point number 6. Point 7 would be chair's announcements, but I don't believe I have any. Do I have any announcements? I do. I'm very happy for somebody to say, we were meant to say. Do I have any announcements, Robert?
Just to remind members about going to Christmas parade.
Thank you.
Yes.
That is a very good point. So I am reminding you all that the Christmas parade is on the 16th of December. That is correct, isn't it? I got it wrong the other day. And we need people to be in the parade. And if you don't want to be in the parade, but you would rather marshal, then I think more people are needed for that as well. If you have friends who want to marshal or family member, I think that would also be appreciated.
And were you suggesting we all went in fancy dress? I don't know.
I'm going to dress anyway.
Oh, no, you're not.
Anyway, I'm not going dressed as I would normally go. It's fine. This is not landing, the suggestion of fancy dress is not landing terribly well.
No.
Feel free yourself.
I'll point it out.
Then that brings us to the date of the next meetings. The next full council meeting is on Monday, the 18th of December. And then the next interim council is Monday, the 8th of January.
That'll be next year.
That will be next year indeed, on 8th of January 2024. Maybe I need to specify that. And
Can I
it's-
give my apologies, please?
You'll be on
the front of mine.
Oh, no, he won't.
And this brings this meeting to a close. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're absolutely right, Anthony, what you said a minute ago.
I'm going to close this meeting down and then start a new one, so if you can log back into the new one for planning.
I don't think,
Are you listening to us?
no, it's not.